the second thought. How na ekpo ịnyịnya je na mmiri wisi. No, ịkpọrọ ịnyịnya je na mmiri. Ya first go ịnyịnya ahụ ịṅụ mmiri. So even the way akụ ife adị na-ekwu na how will say force ndị nwere shop na main market bịa mepee shop. No, force ndị nọ na main market bịa mepee shop. Ya force kwunu ndị nọ n'ụlọ ha ịbịa main market bịa golo afịa. Akọ ihe mara na tịla ka force ndị nọ na main market na iwu na ha ya agbape shop ha. Ihe dekwunu force ndị mmadụ na iwuriri iwu na ha ya abata main market bịa zụrụ afịa. Because if asịrị ndị afịa no, no, every Monday. No, I emepe again until 1 week. Or no, Juna higher market, Biazolafia. No, I be on market, Biazolafia. No, I have but as market again, Biazolafia for 1 week. Oh, yeah, we far. Yeah, equality, equilibrium. You balance this. Hey, what I go? Esho Potando Lule, Naya Bialili. Ya force Ndengulu, Naya Biagulu. Ịchọpụta ndị olule na ha ya abịa lelele ya achọpụtakwa ndị ogugo na ha ya abịago ha sị na gọọmenti na-lose 8 billion every day every Monday afịa zụọ. So what it means is that na tata awụ na Wednesday ịghọtago. So ha lose 8 billion on Monday, on Tuesday and Wednesday ha lose go 16 billion. So they ha prefer 16 billion. Okay, thanks go there from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you gotta go 5 days times 8 billion times 5. A one na Soludo will know a businessman called oh a good businessman. You gotta go. I just go to calculate them. You gotta go. Okay, one now. 8 times 5 equal to 40 billion. Okay, one now. Madrid 40 billion. Well, I should 8 billion. Who goes in on ya what are the phone? And then I said, you know, an economist call. In the 40 billion, well, actually 8 billion. Who goes in with him? Man, take home the foul. Soludo the 40 billion. Well, actually 8 billion. Number one. Number two. Ke force ndo lule ebia mege shop. Ya force go nde na egolu ebia golu. Cheye. E got go. Sit at home, when people see confidence, now the day that Nahadu go secured, they will come out and come and do their business. You don't need to force them. What you only need is to convince them of their safety. Guarantee them of your safety. They cannot use because of you, because need security when I got. In fact, need security when I got. Iji army, iji police. Iji DSS ozuo kwa alogo inakwukwa n'ime bulletproof vehicle ngo ka ha ya dey n'anya onye ru onye asụkwa ọwụrụ ya ịghọtago. So Soludo nya ji elephant wee na-ekwe onye ọkụkọ ọ ife mfụrụ ya iji elephant wee na-ekwe onye ọkụkọ ka ọ hụ na
except a few shops that were open and so on. And we decided to shut it down for the remainder of this week, and it will remain shut down. After they have shut down this place for 5 years plus, there was this so-called sit-at-home before I assumed office. A year plus before I came into office. We tried everything, and I will say a few things in this regard. So the purpose of this press conference is simply to clarify a few issues as to what is at stake, why we did what we did, and why this must have to happen, and even be deepened in the days and weeks and months ahead. Because we're prepared, and because we see it as a big struggle for the soul of Anambra's future. This is a struggle for the soul of Anambra's future. The mandate of the people, like almost 80% of the people, have given us mandate to protect and promote their welfare and security. And that we must remain committed to doing 24/7 every day. Anambra is on the rise. We've secured Anambra. Security is firm. We had the best Christmas ever this last few weeks. People, it was as if there was mass return all over Anambra. All the markets were open, including on Mondays, even Sundays. And you won't believe it. Main market was open on Mondays throughout the Yuletide season. But then after the Christmas season over, oh, we've got to lock it up again. Something is happening. It's no longer sit at home. Sit at home ended more than 2 years ago. What is now happening with these markets? Because on Mondays, everywhere in Anambra, especially in Onitsha, on Mondays, the streets are busted. The various stadiums that you have in the place, they are full with people exercising. Cars on the road, social meetings, neighborhood meetings, churches, and so on and so forth. Street trading everywhere. Everybody is bustling because the earlier sit at home was that people sat in their homes and never came out. This time around, it's no longer sit at home. It's now plain laziness because what you've done for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years becomes like culture. You know, we've become used to it. And therefore, by reflex action, we have to be aware. And we are redefining a new calendar for Anambra and the Southeast, that you are open for business from Tuesday to Saturday or to Friday, as the case may be, while the rest of the world has a different kind of calendar. No. There's now some deliberateness about what is going on. Sabotage, criminal intent to keep Anambra and the Southeast behind. And we are determined to fight this with everything legal to make sure that we come to an end to this. Like I said, security restored, investors are pouring in. Christmas that we had like no other, where everybody traded every day, including Sundays. We cannot realize the potentials of Anambra without defeating this particular evil, because it keeps dragging us back. How did we get here? Before I became governor, that was sometime I think early 2021, they began this stuff, sit at home, which was ordered by I don't know who, as a way of protesting the arrest of Ndi Anambra. But when I assumed office, we engaged all stakeholders, everybody in the discussions. And we had several releases by IPOB denouncing the sit at home itself, that they did not support it. Various groups were denouncing it, but I think this was being reinforced by a group, I think led by Simon Epa or something, maiming and killing people, and so fear got into everywhere, and people decided then to obey, not because they loved to, but because they were coerced to. We tried everything over time to do something about it. We engaged. For us, upon assumption of office, I personally visited Anambra when I assumed office at his DSS custody. We discussed. He was not happy. This is what he told me. He was not happy about the sit-at-home thing, because it's like shooting yourself on the foot. It's like cutting your nose to spite your your face. And as we say, he will hold somebody down. He's holding himself there. The artisans, the school children that have to go to school, the artisans who make their daily living, these apprentices, who make their living on a daily basis. You stop them from earning their living, and you think you are serving their interest. You want to turn Southeast into a desolate homeland, and yet you are fighting for them. Of course, he said that was wrong. I confronted him with these questions, and he told me that was wrong. Okay? So, now you come. These other criminals were enforcing this. Many and killing people on Mondays. Okay, we engaged. We offered amnesty program for those who enforce it and those in the bush. We also established the 17-man committee through Justice and Peace Commission, chaired by Professor Denkalo, to identify the remote and the immediate causes of the agitations, restiveness, violence, and struggle in the Southeast since 1999. And they have already submitted their report and we're already implementing aspects of it, including having setting up the Bureau of Missing Persons. We cannot, but then July 2023, recognizing that much of the sit-at-home rhetoric was fueled from outside Anambra, we decided to engage with those living in Abuja, living in Lagos, and the diaspora, that you are killing the homeland. If you love Igbo land, if you love the Southeast, or you are from the Southeast, and you are talking about sit at home, there must be a mental problem somewhere. Because you are killing the place. How will the children, innocent children, grow and be part of the next century if you keep them away from schools? That's the people you say you are fighting for? That's madness. The poor peasant farmers and so on and so forth. The woman who was frying akara to feed her people, to feed her children in front of their house. Those who were enforcing it, those mad people, who went and shot her dead in front of her house. How do you expect, and these are the people you are fighting for? So we tried to engage. We did everything. We even have our 1U2 skills program. We told them, come out of the bushes, we'll help you earn a living. About 15,300 youths have so far benefited. We tried to make life easy for these poor people that they are harming by, having free education from primary through secondary school for these poor people who said peas and petty traders, vulcanizers, truck pushers, and so on, who have led to that nobody should charge them anything. We're struggling, free antenatal, free delivery for all pregnant women that has benefited over 180,000 women in the state, and so on and so forth. We are working for these poor people, trying to get them a life. But then some other people are elsewhere trying to inflict monumental pain on them every week. Every week that you don't have, but I'll come to that in a moment. And that's a point for you to note. You've got to ask yourself, why Anambra? Why Anambra? Why Onitsha in particular? Because as I drove out here on Monday, here you are in Oka. You go to a Koka, you go to the markets, everybody's going about their business. You drive down through Onitsha, everywhere is busy. Why do they target Onitsha and the Nnewi markets? This is something for everybody to think about. Why? You go around Onitsha, and majority of the people doing this are not from Anambra. Majority of the people doing this are not from Anambra. It's food for thought. And I will say that we came in first. We didn't want to come with any force or coercion. We had meetings, multiple meetings with leaderships of various markets. I was in one of them. I visited some of the markets, the main market particularly, I visited it. Asked them to open the main market. Because as you come, everywhere. Everywhere else. I drove through Ochanja the same Monday. All the streets, street trading everywhere. So anybody talking about, oh, it's because of insecurity, it's madness. Because the same Onitsha, all the streets are filled with traders trading on the streets. But then they lock up the shops at the main market. They lock up the shops at the major markets. It's no longer sit at home, because sit at home meant you sat in your home. But now everybody is in the streets, but doing everything else but opening their shops. This must end. But I don't think it's because of maybe lazy habit, like I said. When an abomination has lasted for a year, people try to normalize the abnormality. Make it normal. Mondays you do something else. You know. No. The rest of the world cannot adjust to our own calendar. We must adjust to the calendar of the rest of the world if we want our people, the Southeast and Anambra State, to move forward. And I raised another puzzle. We've just discovered in main market, you have over 150 security persons working there. That's a subject for another day. So anybody who talks about, oh, it's because of security or insecurity, you have 150 security personnel there. Are they working to secure the market, or are they the saboteurs? We will come to that in the next few days. Like I said, the cost to Anambra State is enormous. People think about revenue. I'm talking about the larger economy. The traders themselves, that each day that you don't go to market, you don't know how many businesses that you've lost. You don't know how many businesses are moving out of Onitsha to elsewhere. Because Monday is almost the most important day of the week. That's when suppliers, the people demanding for goods, that's when they must go and open up. So if you are not opening, people are opening, relocating elsewhere. That's what we mean by the cost to the state. The place will keep getting down and down economically. And like I said before, we're not going to train our children in the 21st century by going to school 4 days a week. Absolute nonsense. And this, of course, obviously, has stopped. We're going to open the schools, and we're going to take the same measures. If you are running a private school, if you are not open, and come and slam it and lock it up. Because we've given you the permission to operate there as a school. And in Anambra, the school days are Monday through Friday. If you are going to close it for any day, you've got to get a special permission. One says, they are right. It is your right. Fair enough. But I also have a right to even revoke the ownership of that place in public interest. If we start exercising rights, everybody starts exercising his right and powers, then that will get us zero to nowhere. But all this nonsense must stop. The banks, I have a meeting with them now. Public service, petrol stations, public servants. Of course, we don't have it. If you don't come to work, you don't get paid. Deduct it for the day. Because if 5 days in a week, and you abstain from 1 day, you have absented 20% of the week, isn't it? 1/5 is 20%. And if you've done that for 1 year, meaning that you worked for 80%, paid for 100%. And you've done that for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. No, now. Abba. You know, you work for 80% and get paid for 100%. The markets, like I said, particularly the petty traders, particularly for the petty traders, I am concerned because you've given me the mandate to be your chief servant. For me as a person, what do I lose? I lose. I go home, so that we can also shut down and maybe I take my own Monday and sleep. But no. For the sake of this state, for our children, for these poor people, poor traders, poor farmers, and all who depend on these markets being open, we cannot have this. Those who depend on daily income, like I said, the artisans and so on and so forth. So the struggle is to save the economy of Anambra, secure our future, save our children, keep our markets open, and reassure our investors.
Igbo bi Igbo ndị ọma njem ọnụ Igbo mụrụ nsị m ọzọ ya ma na-ege m ntị n'onu. Ekene gị n'ụbọchị nke taata. Uwe ihe na-aha n'efere mba ụwa gbasara our Governor Soludo. Prọfesọ Ndi Anambra, onyeisi ndị prọfesọ Anambra, Governor, our one and only governor. A sịkwa na ọbụla sọsọ nwata na-ada okwu na oke na-adakwukwu okwu. Uwe ihe kwuru mgbe ị na-eme ndị Anambra address today gbasara otu isi wee mechie afịa Onitsha. Ị na-asị that na uwe some ndị na-earn daily income to feed their family, but because of sit at home on Monday, no prevent her from making earn those small money ha na-earn every Monday. Now iwe bịa wee mee ndị makazi na-eme ha afịa on Monday bịa mechizie ya for 1 week. Achọrọ m ka cross check ya 1 good week ha manzo afịa, then the traders see that na ha na-eme gain, ha na-earn income daily na-ada abịa Monday. This is mathematics. Ịlụọ ya check ya as in minus or plus on n'ime ya. That's okwu ifo that na-edali ya nwanne anyị. Biko anyị ji aha Chukwu ayọ gị meghee Anambra State, meghee the market, ka onye ọbụla mee gị nke onye ọbụla zụwa afịa. Ka this thing obere ihe a na-eme kịta anọ ka ndị ọzọ, that is our enemy, have to use this against us. Because before you know it, kịta a na-eme peaceful protest ma ọ bụ na-eme ihe peacefully, ndị ilo abịa mee gị na-abịa hijack ya the thing, iche na oyi egwuregwu, before you know it ebido gbuwe mmadụ. Ndị na-ekweshi ike ewu, ndị kwesịrị ike n'ọlọwa ha ọ bụrụ because of afọ imechiri ọbịa mee gị ọbịa were ndị so many people. Now protest na-aga since yesterday na Onitsha bridge, emechigo the Onitsha Kezafia, the bridge dị na side mgbọgwụ. Now no wezi ndị na-aga aga, onweghị ndị na-abata abata. And ịma na ebu na isi Asaba, that is the only way you can pass. Onye si Mrs. na mmiri wee gaferu, onye jiri moto na-abata abata ma nsi na mmiri. Onye ime ga-agaziga tọnụwa, ya mbụ gị long journey. So nwanne anyị ukwu, biko anụmayọ gị megheru ndị mmadụ afịa ka ha zụwa. Ife osugodi mmadụ ndị wee shop bịa meghee shop, anyị wabụ ndị nọ n'ụlọ na-ego ihe anyị na-eri n'ọnụ. Ụja ga-ekwekwa anyị bịa Monday bịa goro ihe, all from that Tuesday ahụ ka anyị ga-apụtawa. Ịma before si na ndị mmadụ bịa goro ihe Monday, because onye bịara afịa every Monday bịa every Monday, ọgba moto gbafuo moto ọbịa omiya anọ gba moto gbafuo moto na every Monday ọ dịele afịa. Because everybody kita was a Monday sit at home, time oge ji mee imago school. Normally school adjust to go. I'm not saying that na sit at home and not the mal, no, but as for now, until one na you kweji makia we na-eme the thing apụta, until ọpụta eziokwu no kwugo that no boy ya na ihe a na-eme sit at home no dịlọ ma, but they want to see him out of that place on. Biko anyị ji aha Chukwu ayọ gị meghee data afịa ka ha fi ịgawa n'ihe ọzọ, ka ha fi from iti mkpu kịta baa n'ịba akwa. Monday ahụ ị na-afụ kịta ị na-asị ndị mmadụ pụta many years ago ọ tara isi ndị mmadụ, cannot as not even last year onwe ndị ọ tara isi ha, last 2 years the same thing. Ọ bụ na ha fụta afịa, ọ bụ na o wee mistake mmadụ kpọghechee shop ya tukwuru na-echezi customer, ọ bụ na customer abịaghị n'ụkpọ agbarụ ndị mmadụ tọsa and ha gbakwa ha na ha gbafo imafuzi ha again. I'm not against afia woman for now, biko mechi just half a ka gụziwala ọha afia normal ụtụ ha sha azụ afia. Onye si mi we security kwuru cham ụta isi abịa afia kịta anọ with security, ị na-agari with security. Ọ bụ na Anambra State dị that secured otu isi wee kwuo at least na-agagharị without security aya mara na ọdịgo secured ama na ebe nincha dị safe onye ọbụla aftawazie mana ị bịara Onitsha main market mee gịnị kpọrọ polisi bịa kpọrọ ndị security bịa to tell you that to show that na gịnị me na afịa adịghị secured na everywhere adịghị secured ebe dị secured ama na achọ ndị ga na-akpọ ndị bụ egbe ị ga-akpọ ga na-secure gị ọdụ possible biko ọbara hafi ịbịa ghasawa na because of this thing ya ka m wee ikwu na this particular video ime ọkwana m kọọla m n'ọnụ Igbo ndị ọma njem ọnụ ka emesịa